Hi everybody, it's Anthony Morrison and welcome to the email content section of our module. Now, what I'm going to do here is talk to you about the content that you will actually write in your emails. So many people fail to get the whole picture right, you know what I'm saying? So like we talked about in our last video, in our last training module on the subject lines, that's what's really important when you're looking for opens, right? So when you're looking to get people to actually open the email, then the subject line really matters. But once you get the opens, well then what's the next piece? Well, obviously you're sending emails so that you can make money. So you've got to be able to get people to take action on the emails that you send. So one of your goals here is to get people to take action, okay? So you want to get them to take action. You want to get them to click on the links that are actually in the email. Otherwise, you're not going to make any money, right? Now, one of the other goals that you have when you send an email out is to get low unsubscribe rates. So we call that a low unsub, right? So you don't want to send 100 emails out and have 30 people unsubscribing from the email. That would obviously be horrible. So you want to get low unsubscribe rates. You want to get low spam complaints, right? So you don't want people to report your email as spam, okay? So you want to get low spam rates, and then you want to get high click-through ratio percentage. All right, so what that means is same thing as taking action. You want to get people to actually click through on the email and go to wherever it is that you're promoting. So in order to make these goals happen, a few things have to take place. Number one, the content of your email has to be relevant, right? So the number one thing has to be relevant to what the people were looking for. That's why I've told you throughout this entire course, if you build an email list that's on weight loss, then you need to send emails to the list about weight loss. You don't need to be sending them emails about anything else. Because the more relevant the email is, the less likely they are to unsubscribe and to report it as spam, right? So if you can make your relevancy high, so have a high percentage of relevancy, then you're going to lower the percentage of unsubs and lower the percentage of spam complaints, okay? That's number one. Now, once you've got a relevant email, once you understand you got to write it relevantly, there's a couple different ways you can write them. You can write a short email with links. So really what that means is the email is really short and concise, right? But the whole purpose of the email is to drive a higher click-through percentage, because in reality there's not a whole lot to the email, right? Typically on these shorter emails right here, you're going to get a higher click-through ratio simply because it's going to be something really short and sweet to the point, right? Maybe a couple of sentences and then a link to click. Now, you can also do what we call a long form email with links. And when you do that, what's going to happen is the longer the email is, obviously the more they have to read, the more time they have to just click out of the email and move on. But at the same time, the longer the email is, the less spammy it looks, because you have time in this email to talk to people about what they're looking for, about who they are, about what they're doing, these kinds of things, to be more personal with them, right? And so if you have time to do that, if you have space to do that in a longer email, then you're going to get a lower unsubscribe rate and a lower spam complaint rate, because the email is longer, it's talking to them about what they are. It's not just sending them some short, quick email telling them, hey, click this link, right? So a couple of things that I always use in my emails, okay? And I'll change colors here because this is really important. Some of the things that I always use. I use commands. So basically, I tell people what to do in the email. I tell them I want them to click on the links that I'm providing. Okay? I also use the first name code. So I'm just going to call it first name. Now, what that means is that just like in the subject line where I told you you could insert the person's name, you can also do that in the content of the email. So at any point in your email, you could actually have their name placed in the email. I always use this first name. I always use this first name code simply because I think it makes the most sense, because you're personalizing the email. The more personalized the email is, the less likely you are to have spam complaints and unsubscribes, right? Then if you give people commands and you tell them what to do, well, the more likely you are to get a higher click-through ratio. Using these two things in conjunction with each other, telling people what to do, but then also being extremely personal with them, again, using their name in the email, will allow you to accomplish your goals, right? And your goals are really important, and here's why. If you have a lot of people unsubscribing, then that means it's actually costing you a lot of money to build your list. I mean, if you get, every time you send out an email, you have 10 or 15 people unsubscribing and you only have 100 people on your list, you're not going to send that many emails before you have no list left, right? So you want to keep this unsubscribe rate low. Spam rates are real important also because, you know, all these platforms like iContact, GetResponse, Aweber, they look at your spam complaint ratio. And if you have a high spam complaint ratio, they shut down your email sending, right? So very important to keep those two things in mind. Here's what I suggest when you first get started and you're sending out emails. My suggestion is that you send long emails, longer emails so that you have time to bond with people, create a relationship, create some kind of bond with them so that they don't feel like you're just spamming them with a bunch of links. You should never, ever, ever spam people, and never use spammy link or spammy words. I'm just kind of filling this in here, but never use spammy words. So most all of these networks that you could send email from, all the platforms, they actually add, they have like a spam meter, right? So when you write up your email, you can check it against what they think the spam complaint ratio would be or the spam rating would be. And they tell you if it's over the top and they're telling you, wow, this is real spammy, then it's in your best interest to not send the email, because one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to bulk a lot, meaning it's just going to go to spam folders for people and they're not even going to see it anyway, or you're going to get a high spam complaint ratio and then you're going to get your email sending shut down. This happens all the time to people. That's why this course is so important. You know, you're extremely lucky that you took action, you bought this course, and you're actually going through the videos and learning what you're learning right now. This has taken me years to really master and perfect, and I'm still learning myself. In fact, to learn how to send emails like this and to really learn all the keys and get a good foundation, I brought on one of the top internet marketing email senders in the country, and I had to split my revenue with him. So it ended up costing me, somewhere around $200,000, $250,000 to get the education that you're getting right now, right? So it's these kinds of things I didn't know when I first got started, and I had to have a mentor, a coach, somebody to come in and really sit down with me and help me. And now what I'm doing is I've even taken it beyond what I learned from him, and I've perfected it, and I've done a lot of split testing, and you're learning from me the most important and essential things to really making sure that when you send emails, you're able to generate money, you're able to keep your unsubs down, keep your spam complaints down, keep your accounts active, and be able to keep your business rolling, right? These are very, very key points. Always personalize the emails, tell people what to do, so make it real easy for them to see the links in your emails, and then never use spammy words. Make sure you check all your emails for spam complaints, spam complaint ratings on the platforms before you send. And in the end, if your email's relevant and it tells them what to do, it's personal and it's not spammy, you're going to get really good click-through ratios, low unsubs, low spam complaints, and you'll be able to maximize your return on investment from sending out your emails. So make sure that you do all of this, take notes, write all this stuff down, and then move on to the next module.